So I'm back in this demo, and I just bought the euro again on a fresh low. We just got a new low. But I'm actually running these tickets here, or these, it's like a group of tickets. This is the first, I only have one limit going here for 1 hour. It's kind of hard to read this font because it changed the color so dramatically on the background that now this editor is all jacked up from Windows trying to give me a fancy color. But here's the thing. This has got a master stop of 13 pips. Yeah, the zero's there for the 5 decimal. This should be buying the ask and exit on the bid. So it's always, this is going to buy 2 pips deep from the ask, though, not from what you see on your screen, because that's the bid. So it's going to look like you're getting, when that drops, it's going to be further away than what you see on the screen. It's going to look like it's getting in, depending on your spread. It's going to look like it's 4 pips deep. It's going to look, no, it's actually going to look less deep, because it's not 2 pips below the bid. Now, you could set it to that, but I just kind of made it like, oh, I'm going to buy the ask and sell the bid, just so I can keep track of the spread, I suppose. And here the exits are really scalp orientated. I mean, you're only going to make 8 pips off of where you're at right now. So if we drop down 2 without going down 13, and then we go up 8, that'll be my biggest winner there. But this is kind of just a spike strategy. So here, I'm drop it. Just keep dropping. That lasts an hour. So this is my buy low, sell high theory. But the other keys I'm going to set to, and of course, you have to, you could wait an hour to press the buttons, but here you can see they're trapping still. They're still in the trap mode, I think. Like, is this breaking out? Gee, I don't know. So you'd have to gauge it, and if you don't want to wait, which I don't, I put a buy stop in there last hour. So I have one buy stop, which means I don't know if they're going to take it down lower, but I'll get in here. You know, it should just become a market order here in about, as soon as this yellow line hits that arrow, it's going to fill. So you'll see the margin go up there. This is the only way I can manage this markets, because if I'm sitting here babysitting this thing or look at it every hour and I see that we're in this territory, I'm pressing the buy limit key. Buy limits. Every hour, every 15, you can set it to 15, you can set it to 4 days. And I'm putting in buy stops. Because when I put a buy stop in here, I'm probably getting filled. If I can't get a 2 pip discount in these markets in 1 hour, then there's something wrong. So if I put in this order here, are you going to tell me when this top yellow line hits that arrow, I'll be filled? How is that not a good trade? So it's a 4K with a master stop down here, and you just create the math there. How much money do you have now? Buy stop, right? Obvious, right? Every time, this is just trading one currency pair. This is just how to make money trading. This is simple. This isn't about, oh, look, I predicted the move in the... Good for you, right? You predicted that, I mean, well, you know, you don't get paid for analysis unless you work for some company that writes newspapers, or you're selling some ridiculous fantasy trading system, auto scanner. Come on. You know, if you're gonna scalp this thing, you gotta be there to see how much margin you can load up on a trade, and then dump. So everything here is totally off a keyboard. I don't want to be reaching over here and doing this shit. Now I can make way more money if I've got a dedicated keyboard. So if you're really a scalper, I mean, if you know how to read a tick chart, and you just. Now here, you just have to wait. The hardest part is waiting to see if your trade plan works out. Another thing, yesterday when the market was tanking like a whore, I don't know if anybody saw this move, but I bought into this. And I bought on stops, but I had to delete my stops because when this thing came roaring back, I actually might have made more money if I held through that, but as this thing's dropping, and I didn't have the hotkeys set up, I was really pissed off because I had to keep reaching over here and double clicking this crap. So by here, I got some fills here, plus I had grids running. This is a 10 pip grid. I was buying. Now, those might have been snug stops, and that could have been a problem. But, man, that was crazy. And when we got to here, I was like, at this point, I must have been down about $2,000. And now I'm up about, you know, 1,300 or something. I don't know. 1,400. But now, I didn't have I refused to buy during these ups because I'd bought so much on this. I was in about 300, I'd say 300K. And I'm just buying, right? And you can see the drawdown on my demo account. You see this drawdown, but so I really get it heavy. And this is, you know, by here, I could see this top bottom, so I loaded up on stops right there. Now it's kind of, if I had the keyboard in my hand, I would just be click, 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 click. I wouldn't even care. It's such an obvious, painfully obvious winner. Just like here. If you're trading the break out of this tick chart ledge, you want to be long right now. Now we're going to wait for them to bring it back to fair value. We'll dump something. And then, so when the market's going up, we're selling, we're getting out of our wins. And hopefully, I'm getting out now. I wrote the script right, and the spread here is not that great. It's 1.5 pips. This is why you pay commissions, so that you can write a script that will, you know, you can literally take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pips out. And I've written scripts like that, and they fucking work, okay? You just have to write the script and run it. It's just like if you write a comedy, right? If you write a comedy and it's funny, it works, unless it's, the old joke is, you know, the producers. So the producers is the inversion story, you know. They try to write something called, I think it was called Springtime for Hitler. And it just kind of like people didn't take it seriously and laughing, but so the right fit. Now there's a hammer on the 15 now. Anytime you see a wick, you know, I mean, unless you traded the pin bar, you don't want to hear about it, right? There's low volatility here. Now, this is the breakout. Are we going to keep tanking? This is the moment of truth right here, just on the 15-minute alone. We're going to keep tanking now because unless buyers come in now, as it's dropping, if I keep putting a buy stop, I'm trading this pretty aggressive because it's not real money. So now, do I wait for these buy limits to disappear in the next? Do I just keep putting buy stops in? Now, here's where it becomes a tactical issue of trying to ride the beast or kill the beast. This wild thing. The market's wild. It's a wild animal. And so you can't tame it with these moving averages, and you just have to figure out what's the logical trade plan at this point. Well, nothing, because you don't want to blow up the account. So you have to wait for this thing to play out. If they're going to dip it back one more time and then go up 10 pips, that's the trade for me. In other words, that's built into another small opportunity, not the big sale, right? Everybody wants that big trade. I get these, you know, this is the whole idea of having these elaborate plans because this is going to be the one. You know, this is nobody would, I mean, people treat trading like they're dating some girl. Oh, I got the best roses, and I got I love the, no offense to anybody that has a really blinged out trade station, but, you know, you put somebody in the corner of a dank room and you just tell them, when it goes down, hit this button. When it goes up, hit this button. And it can't be that easy. Yeah, it is, because you could probably get a homeless person to babysit your kid better than a robot. I mean, a robot babysitting your kid. This broker's offline. So we're going up right now. Predict the future once again. I wish they would just let me know they're offline by giving me that little bell sound that you get out of MetaTrader. And then it's just a matter of like, well, how many trades are you going to do a day like this? And it's always trap to trap. Anybody notice that? Chop the wick on one day, chop the wick on the other side. End up in the middle of the road. So order placement. You need more than one ticket. I'm getting in on stops here. I should be long on some limits. Now I can double check to see how my trading's doing. So the limit's filled. And the other one should say stops. So you can see this. The limits are winning though. See, because no, they're not. Wait, the biggest winning tickets, these limits here, these crop down here, and they're nearly the same price, which is not that great. Which means I guess I don't have any patience. So this is my journal. You know, people say, "Well, you got a journal?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right here. It's my trading account." Like this idea of a journal. I'll be honest with you. For me, do I really need to review my day? I mean, I don't know why people treat this like it's like a trip to the moon. I documented every move I made, my journey Forex trading. Okay, well, this is my journey Forex trading on YouTube, but I'll tell you what, the journey of waking up to it being like below zero outside, my journey, everything's a journey. I don't know, everybody's got these tag words. The latest style of lingo. And then I love the schooled people. I never really feel comfortable whipping out. I mean, not like I don't have a vocabulary, but it's like I always feel awkward. If you go to a party, you can't really get too elaborate. You can't even use that word. People are like, what? Like, especially if you're at a party where a limited amount of English spoke. But, yeah, so it's a weird thing. But trading's the same way. Like, just this comfort feeling of, yeah, that makes sense. I can see the crowds going the other way on that. Okay, we want to be out of this trade in the next 10 minutes with at least 5 pips. Okay, so we're waiting. Okay, that's pretty much it. I got out here at the top of that wick because they're just going to trap these people now, and now look to buy on pullbacks. Or I could sell up there. I could throw a sell limit right up there. But that's the half-hour trend line to break, and I was on the 15 when I loaded the wagon down here and stops. And I still have these buy limits pending for an hour here. So maybe you want to take all those off. You go up to the exit and take out the... right here, close all. It's going to take all these lingering orders off. It should. There it goes. And that's it. Sellers are coming in up there. You can scalp off that. But I wouldn't get too excited because it looks like we're going to go through the roof here. Looks like this bitch is pissed and we're coming back and we're going all the way up to test the top of this trend line. And the big trap is going to be right on that wick.